I was also given a link to earthquakes, um, natural gas drilling, and fracking. And I lived in Alberta, which is Canada's oil fields. Um, Seeing how Alberta was kind of developed. And first of all, there was nothing there. When I was a teenager, it was like the wild, wild west. Everybody wanted to move west and develop the west because there was nothing there. When I got there, it was you couldn't even find anybody that was from Alberta. Everybody was from some other province, some other place. Nobody was actually an original Albertan. But when you could find one of them, a lot of them that were my age grew up with outhouses. They didn't even have, toilets. Um, and I'm only 52, so we haven't been living this developed um, oil field, industrial system for all that long. It's not as long as you think it is. I mean, in my day, we had black and white television. I seen the development of color TV. I seen them land on the moon. I actually touched one of the first spaceships that landed on the moon. Um, I've seen a lot of history in my time. I've seen a lot of really, really interesting stuff throughout my whole life. I just love, love, love sharing some of the things that I've experienced. Now, part of the development of Alberta basically was in the Trudeau days where everything was free and, he was so popular and he actually used the word fuck and married a wife that was on drugs and, like you could see so much imperfection within our government at that particular time. But everybody loved this guy. The best saying, I guess, was fuddle duddle, which was fuddle duddle was him saying the word fuck. And they had t-shirts about that. And everybody was at one with that because everybody was like protesting and trying to go against the system and, drugs. Lots of hippies were on drugs and looking for love and peace through drugs. Um, and now all of that mentality has created exactly what we got today. All of the hippies turned into yuppies. And they didn't see themselves turning into exactly everything they hated. So anyways, when they wanted to develop the West, people came from older cities. Ontario is where I'm from, and it was so old, and they had such old mentalities. Like, as soon as there was a rumor that there was going to be a layoff or a recession of any kind, then everybody hoarded their money, and that stopped the economic systems from actually flowing, which actually caused the recession. Is just the friggin' rumor of a recession because of their mentality. From that old age group, a lot of these people came from the Depression. So they've known what it's like not to have food, so they developed this insane rule that you got to save for a rainy day. And while you're saving for a rainy day, you're not realizing you're creating the rainy day all the time. So you're perpetuating your own fears by your belief system. I was a foster mom, and I seen this kid hoard food. He would hide food under his pillow, all over the place. He'd be hiding food because he was deprived of food at one time. So we developed these really, really strange reactions to some of the hardships we've experienced in our lives. But the people that went out and developed Alberta were young kids like me, and when I got there, it was like, holy shit, you could get a job doing anything. You didn't have to have an education to do a professional job. They hired you anyways and paid you a ton of money. So, you didn't have to have an education in being an electrician. If you wanted to do an electrician job, you got on the job training to do whatever it is you needed to do. People that were running corporations, you didn't actually have to know anything about business. You didn't have to know shit. They just paid you. If you were willing to do the work, here's the money. I'll give you tons of money. Just do your best at whatever it is we need done. So a lot of things weren't done very right. And then they developed their political systems based on that insanity of doing everything wrong and profiting from it. So I kind of watched the development of Alberta, and it is one of the most corrupt provinces in Canada. Most people that make an awful lot of money there in the oil field don't pay their income tax, and yet it's supposed to be the province that has the most money, and every other province wants a piece of that money because it's part of Canada. And nobody's really realizing that, yeah, it's a province with a lot of money that, they don't even pay their fair share of income tax. And no other province is actually calling them on that one. Their judges are all corrupt because they're all in the pockets of everybody that wants to do everything wrong. So that's a good explanation of why the police and the justice system, nobody there is actually paying attention to any type of law. They're doing what they can to get away with whatever they want to get away with. And in this one area I lived in, it smelled like rotten eggs, and I would make a complaint. It was definitely toxic. It was definitely a crime. And so I phoned these inspectors, and they would come out, and they would go and talk to them. They even shut them down for very short periods of time. And then eventually it got to the point where they said, it's pointless for me to come out there and try and stop them because there just is no stopping them. They're going to do whatever they want to do. So eventually these people that were supposed to monitor them got tired. And, instead of actually shutting them down for good because they clearly were not going to pay attention to any laws, they just said, there's no stopping them. So now they're into fracking, and I can't walk in Alberta because I've seen the corruption there. There's so much homelessness in a province that's supposedly as wealthy as they are. They haven't woken up to the concept of why there's that many people homeless. And they all say, oh, they're drug dealers and they're this and they're that. And it's like, yeah, you can put an explanation that explains why these people are homeless. It's their own friggin' fault. They just don't want to be responsible or accountable. And it's like, no, it's the guys at the top that don't want to be responsible or accountable. And they're putting these false judgments on all of these homeless people. I've seen wealthy people that are completely clueless, and they just, oh, they're scum, get them off the street, I don't want to look at it. I've seen people, and it's friggin' cold there. And I had walked into one business that had heaters. There was one door, and then there was another door before you actually went into the store, and that one area had heat in it. So some homeless people were in that entranceway just trying to get some heat. They were human beings that were freezing, trying to find heat. And when I walked into the store, the owner of the business was apologizing for, me having to deal with that. And it was like, are you friggin' crazy? These are people that are cold. You should be not apologizing, but say thank you for understanding these people are cold and I'm offering them some heat. But this guy, just was saying that, trying to shoo them away. And it's like, okay, if your kids were cold, would you give them a warm place to be? Because now as everything's collapsing, you are going to be that homeless person and you don't see it. Your business is about to get shut down because I won't even deal with you anymore. I won't fund you. I won't buy any of your products. And hopefully, as the economy crashes, everybody will do the same thing. So that business owner is going to be out of business. They're going to lose everything they got. And then they're going to be one of these homeless people that's going to need another business to keep them warm. And because they're going to be so freaking frustrated and angry at the system, they won't be able to communicate. And more than likely, to keep warm, they'll be on alcohol and trying to suppress their pain, and they won't be able to relate their experiences to ask for help because they'll be in a position where they see nobody gives a shit. So when it comes to fracking, tons and tons of fracking going on in Alberta. Nobody is waking up to it. Traders beware. I've seen that. You've seen that Alberta's a safe place to be. That is like the worst place to be. It's not only too expensive to live there, but the universe is guiding you that you want to live in hell, go to Alberta. They will get you one way or another. There's every ounce of corruption is going to be in that province. It's kind of against corruption, but you're going to be surrounding yourself if you move to Alberta. And they're poisoning the hell out of everybody. And they don't give a shit about how many people die. And it's the rich people that live there. So they're killing themselves and they don't even know it. You know, they're destroying their own water. They're destroying their own houses. They got these big, huge, massive mansions that are going to be full of toxic waste. So it's like, how much value does your own place got? Well, you're trying to get away with something. It's just such an insane game. Anyways, I'll put some more links there so you can understand what's going on with fracking. It's going on all over the world. When we see Earth changes, it's humans doing this. And I've tried to understand or bring some understanding that what is inside you, the spirit of what's inside you, your DNA that makes you everything of who you are. Think of your DNA as your hard drive on a computer that makes you perform the way you perform. That what's inside you is reflected in your body. Your body will react. It will move its arms. It will have the smile on its face. It'll have the eye color. It'll have everything that's inside you, in your DNA, in your body. And you can change that. Just change your DNA. Which your DNA is nothing but the rules that you live by, your belief system. So it's easy to change a belief system. You just have to find some reason to believe in something a little better. Don't believe in something that you don't believe in. Find a way to believe in something that you do believe in that goes against what you currently believe in, if that makes any sense to you whatsoever. But anyways, it is possible. I'm not going to explain that process on this particular video. But what was my point? We are trying to make some changes, and we have to understand that what is inside us is inside your body, which is not going to be healthy. So if you're not healthy, look internally to find that health. Same is true with your planet, that what's inside all of us, we're all greedy. We all have a death wish. So outside of ourselves, you'll see your planet reflect what's inside you. It's just a little bit more distance. The distance between what's inside you, the space and time distance between what's really inside you is actually your body. A little bit further distance in time, you'll see the planet. You cut down a rainforest, you change the way the winds blow. You do this fracking, you'll create earthquakes and massive shifts within the whole entire planet. Birds will die, glaciers will melt. Every single thing that's wrong will be reflected on the planet. And if we're looking at how bad the planet is, look internally. Don't judge other people, because the only job you got is you. And that's the same thing as, don't listen to me, listen to yourself. And that's what I'm trying to do, and just sharing what it is I do, like a diary. The next step, the next space and time to see a reflection of you is outer space. It's still you, but it's the bigness of you. And we think things are being done to us, but we're actually attracting shit to us. We are in control if we take that control. But as long as you think somebody's got to save you and it's out there, something out there is going to change, it can't possibly change out there unless we change in here. And then we change instantly. But it's a numbers game. You got to get enough people on the same shift to be able to see that universal shift. Because it is universal. You will see all of us, a reflection of all of humanity in the universe. So just some things to think about. I'll put some links there. Peace out.